Ian Lyons, I'm from EAD.
Okay. Have you got an affiliation with that? Okay, right, that's fine. Okay, so we've got housing.
I hope the Liberal Party will...
Yeah, I mean, we'll try and squeeze 3 questions in. Okay, right, we'll crack on. So, do you want to start off with your question, like the time? Yeah, so it's an open question for all candidates, yeah.
Yeah, it's about housing, really sort of geared towards rented housing, but actually looking ahead, not too far ahead, to the situation we're going to end up in, is we're going to have sort of people who are hitting retirement age, who are not going to ever be able to buy a house, who are renting now, their income is going to reduce significantly when they hit retirement. They're going to have to carry on renting. They might not be able to afford the rent. So there's a bad scenario, either a lot of people are going to be homeless, or a massive tax bill because people are going to have to claim housing benefit.
Okay, so yeah, when people are getting to that retirement age, how can the system, or how will you be able to pay the rent going forward in the future? Yeah.
And really, it's an issue for how you choose, because there's going to be a big cost to the economy if we don't do something about providing reasonable rented housing. And my guess is that needs to be done by local councils, and then it can be sort of like cost effective, because you can do it more cheaply, you're going to get the income from the rents,
Okay.
But then it ties in with things like right to buy,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, lovely. Okay. So, I think it's you as off to kick us off in order.
Yeah, I think it's a really big subject, that, because you're talking about people who come into near retirement age, but the same applies on the other side. Young people who can't afford to buy a home because of the cost of the home or the commercial rents, market rents that they're paying. So I think there's a number of solutions, and they need tailor-made solutions to these. So I think people who are coming near retirement, a lot of times children have gone, or sometimes they're on their own, and the houses are too big. And I think local authorities should run schemes which helps them downsize into good quality, affordable homes, either to buy or to rent, and they become lifetime homes. So they're there for life, irrespective of any health problems or anything else that comes upon them. And there are areas where people do that, and the homes are adaptable. So if you became ill, or you needed personal care, or you had a wheelchair, then you don't need to move again and again, because that's a stressful period. And I think local authorities actually need to be given the powers to be able to set up more of these schemes. And there are some dotted around the country, but they're very sparse. So I think we actually need a blank piece of paper, and each local authority should have the powers and the money. So, for example, Pendle Council has got a number of joint venture partnerships with Together Housing, with Barnfield Construction, Pearl 1, Pearl 2 and all the others. And they work in terms of regenerating brownfield sites and building new homes. But again, there should be similar partnerships which actually look to cater for people who come into retirement, but also young people who can move into a home, actually buy percentage equity into that home for a period of time, without actually feeling that they've got to move out and end up becoming a burden on the housing benefit system.
It's a subject I spoke about before. I believe everybody should own their own home. I think private landlords and big landlords alike should be forced to offer their homes. These are people's homes, not people's businesses. These are people's homes, and they should be allowed to buy that house at a reduced rate once they've been in the property for a while. Now, there is a problem. This is not a solution for our elderly, unfortunately, but it's a long-term solution. I find that when our elderly get older and they stop working and they go out and start claiming the pension, they're then claiming housing benefit, and that's a tax burden. And I don't mean that as a burden on old people are not a burden, and they've earned that right to be paid for. But our young people should be encouraged to buy their homes. I actually have some houses that I rent out, so I am actually the person, I am actually the turkey that we bought for Christmas. It's one of those things. Everybody should be entitled to own their own home. And if that means that a landlord loses a bit of money, then so be it.
I was just imagining, John, the hollow laugh that would greet the idea of all young people owning their own home if you said that in London. And there are major housing problems in this country which are not going to be dealt with in that way. First of all, the problem is whether people have enough money to be able to afford reasonable housing. We oughtn't to be in a position where we are saying, if you want to live without being airport burden and clothing, housing allowance or whatever, then you've got to go and live somewhere else, somewhere other than where you've lived your life so far, and live somewhere else in order to be able to continue, so the state doesn't have to pay for you. I mean, nonsense. If you want to carry on living where you do, and in order to do that you need a bit of help with the rent, that is part of the definition of what a welfare state is for. But the big question is how you ensure that people, when they retire, have a reasonable income. We were heading, in the late years of the last century, towards a massive crash in which pensions would crash as companies moved away from generous pension schemes because they could no longer afford the long-term cost. What we did in 2006 was to bring parties together, and in this case Alan Johnson was a leader, but Chris Grayling, amongst others, was involved in that process. Steve Webb, the pensions minister, was another. And we brought all those forces together in a way we should use on other subjects, and we agreed a long-term basis for pensions. That is where, for instance, the triple lock came from, but crucially, it's also where automatic enrolment in pension schemes came from, so that people had to, well, they couldn't choose to opt out, but it was assumed that they would opt in to pay for their own pensions. The deal then, and perhaps we're going to come on to the WASPI case, which I very much welcome, but the deal then was that when we said to people, the choice here is between the state spending more, finding ways to enable people to save more, or retiring a little later, overwhelmingly, people said we need to do all three and we need a partnership to do it. That is what we're now doing on pensions. It is incidentally what we ought also to be doing on long-term care. So the issue about old people in poverty is nowadays particularly a problem of the oldest. And that was a result of the failure of government and indeed of all parties actually to accept that they should pay for the needs of the oldest people in the same way that they were looking to pay for the needs of younger, older people. In our country now, the poorest are people who are aged over 80. We lose sight of that. We need to address that problem now, but as far as the longer term is concerned, and enabling people to have the housing they choose and they want, then the answer to that is not to organise our housing, but to organise the system which enables them to have their money to make their own choice.
Okay, just going to go through first.
Well, I agree with a lot of what's been said by the three other candidates. We need to help people with property ladder at whatever stage of life they are. The government's had a range of initiatives on this, things like Help to Buy, a big expansion in shared ownership schemes, which have proved particularly popular with younger people. Locally, I've worked closely with the Together Housing Group on a range of local developments. But ultimately, we as a country are still not building enough homes. We do need to build more homes, and we need to ensure that those homes are fit for the future. We need to ensure that they are energy efficient homes. So people can stay living in those homes for longer without paying through the nose for gas and electricity. We need to ensure that they are, for example, we are consulting at the moment for all new build homes having electric charging points or for electric vehicles. So it's looking at these kind of things and how we can ensure we are increasing the supply of new homes and the range of ownership options that are available to people.
Okay. I'm just going to go to the next question because time's on, but then you can answer it because you're next. Yeah. Go on.
Hi.
What's your question?
Yeah, so we're on a theme of public services. So my question relates to how we have trust in those public services and how they're delivered. So in particular, I'm talking about the level of corruption and cronyism that takes place in the supply chain. So my question is, each of the candidates, if they could give an example of where they perhaps tackled cronyism and corruption in their own parties or their own councils that they've been involved with.
Okay, so I guess there's transparency there, isn't there, about how those processes work. So, John, I'll come back to you. So if you want to add something to the other one, you can do, but yeah, you can answer that question.
Okay, the something about people in London and young people in London. One of the reasons why houses are so expensive in London is because of landlords, and I include myself in that. I am a little bit ashamed to say it, but I've got the poor rented properties and they are my pension. However, I would be prepared to sell them to the people that live in them. That's what they wanted. Going on to your question regarding cronyism and corruption, the government really needs to stamp down on corruption within parties, within politics, because you people out there don't trust politicians. You've got good reason not to trust politicians, and stick to jail sentences, I say.
Okay. Gordon?
The argument that there is a level of corruption that just needs stiffer jail sentences to deal with, without actually providing any examples of the corruption that we're talking about, is an odd one. If there is corruption, it is illegal. The question then is, what steps have you taken to deal with illegal corruption? And the Liberal Democrats are not in a position where they actually control large numbers of local authorities, to put it mildly. I have friends who have run Liberal Democrat local authorities for a very long time, and I have no reason to doubt their basic honesty. I want to go a bit wider, however, which is to challenge the fundamental assumption which is here. I've worked in national politics rather than local politics for virtually all of my working life. I do not see in the United Kingdom a significant amount of corruption at all. I see honourable, hard-working people doing very precarious careers, in fact, because that's what politics is to very many people, and who are trying their best. And that's why the breakdown of trust, which has been particularly associated with Brexit, but has also been associated with longer-term changes in the nature of our politics, is one of the most important things we have to address. I don't think you do that by talking about jail sentences or by making generalised accusations of corruption for which you don't have any proof. I think you deal with that by developing a new relationship between politicians and the people they seek to represent. We have failed to do that. Political parties have failed to involve people. We have failed to take advantage of local authority structures to be able to engage with and involve people. When Liberal Democrats led Pendle Council when it was first created back in 1973-74, one of the key things that was introduced was the concept of area committees, of recognising the variation and the difference in Pendle because of the different communities which are here. I think we should be able very much to build on that sort of experience and that sort of structure to reach out. I think local authorities and councils in particular have become more and more defensive, have retreated into their shell as people have made accusations to them and shouted at them and so on. We have got to turn that around. We have got to create a new sort of engagement which involves people who participate in politics and people who want to affect and to change things in their own communities in talking to each other. That means doing things like citizens' juries. It means doing things like citizens' assemblies. It means taking out the facts to people and talking to people about those facts. I'll just finish with one example of this. It seems to me to be overwhelmingly the case that most people, perhaps not people in this hall, but almost certainly most of your neighbours, do not see any substantial relationship between the level of council tax, the level of financial support for local authority from central government, and the quality and range of services that they receive. Those three things, perhaps along with the business rate level, determine what is happening in a local authority. We need, in local government, as in national government, a grown-up, adult, effective, well-organised discussion about fair tax and quality public services and the relationship between them.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I think it's a really good question because it puts to the core of kind of trust in politics. And when I was first elected in 2010, that followed the MP's expenses scandal, which did so much to undermine faith in all politicians of all parties. And at the time, the Labour government then, with cross-party support, implemented IPSA. the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority that audits all of our expenses, and whoever wins, they will audit their expenses, and ensures that, you know, the kind of corruption scandals that happen there never happen again. From my own experience, I would agree. I would say that corruption is very much limited in this country, but that's no reason for complacency. We do need to root out all forms of corruption and hold people to account because they are breaking the law. Through my work as a Minister in International Development, actually an awful lot of what we're doing these days is working with other countries to help stamp out corruption, because what we're seeing time and time again, particularly in countries in Africa, is a lot of countries they're blessed with immense natural resources. They are gaining large domestic revenues, but it is being stolen and it is being siphoned off and squirreled away in other countries, including in the UK. So we need to work with those countries to ensure that that is stamped out. We have some amazing programmes with HMRC where some of our inspectors go over and work with their domestic taxation systems in order to strengthen that, all paid for as part of the 0.7. I think that's good for UK taxpayers because, of course, that's reducing the amount of aid we have to give in the future. It's also really good for those countries because at the moment, unfortunately, far too many governments around the world are just really, really corrupt, and they are in it for themselves, not in it for the population.
Thank you, Andrew.
I think, just picking up Andrew's point about DFID, in a previous life I was a government advisor and I remember going out with a minister to another country, and as part of the itinerary there was a visit to a model school, it said on the schedule. On the morning of the visit it got pulled because the civil servants had been out to do a recce and found that there was no school but just a patch of land. So there is a lot of corruption out there in international aid, and a lot of work needs to be done in Africa and Asia and other countries to make sure that we actually root that out. I think one way of doing it is actually having, you know, people from here, British officers there, which actually distribute and make sure that the aid is spent properly. However, I think 99.9% of politicians of all political parties go into politics trying to make a difference and go in it with a lot of honesty and transparency. However, I think part of the problem is that over the last 10 years and more, you know, money's been taken out of local authorities and out of government. 60 pence out of every pound has been cut, and that means that the officers aren't there anymore. The workload is increasing, but there isn't the staff to do it. So it ends up that councils can't go out and do the citizens' assemblies and the juries and community engagement in the way that they want, and there's pressures from government. Of course, there has to be zero tolerance to corruption, and there needs to be more transparency. So I'll give you an example here in Pendle. You know, a number of times as a councillor, you get told, oh, it's not Pendle Council, it's Barnfield Council, or it's this, that, and the other. People say in this room, and say it in the pubs and elsewhere on the street. And I think part of the problem is that when local authorities, whether it's Birmingham Council, Hindon, Pendle, set up partnerships in the private sector, those partnerships should be open and accountable. I remember there's a housing development being proposed on further Clough Head where Together Housing, Pendle Council and Barnfields have set up a company, and I wrote to the Chief Executive under the Freedom of Information Act and said I'd like to have all the accounts of all the partnerships that Pendle Council has, and I got an email back after numerous emails to him to say basically sod off, I'm not going to give you anything because it's not in the public interest to give accounts of a partnership where public money is being invested. But that's because that's the way they've been set up, and there has to be something done nationally to give people accountability. If people in this room could hold partnerships, politicians more accountable, because all the accounts are transparent, they can see where the expenses are done, that would really build some of the trust that's been broken.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move on now to, we've got young people, education. Maybe some young people in the audience want to come and ask a question, that'd be great. So we've got anybody who wants to come and ask a question about the theme around young people, education. Of course. Anybody else? Lovely, come and join us. Any young people want to join us? It'd be good to kind of get a perspective from there. Okay. Grant, so who have we got down the table? So what's your name?
My name is Dorothy Lloyd. I'm a Pendle councillor representing Liberal Democrats and the Waterside
Fantastic, very nice to meet you.
I'm also the Pendle Council's champion for young people.
Okay, lovely. And what's your name?
My name is Lynn Partridge. I'm a committee event.
Lovely. Are you representing a particular party or anything like that?
No, I'm just here to ask a question.
Lovely. Okay, right. So Shall we start? So what question would you like to ask? That's it. To all the candidates, keep it fairly open.
Okay. I'm very concerned about a certain element of the youth in Pendle, and in particular in Colne, where I represent. I would hope that the person that does win the election and becomes our MP can do something about this rather than Brexit stuff and you know. I want to know what they can do, what they can offer to the young people that are out of school, that should be in school, that are out of college and should be in college, that are excluded from school and nowhere to go. One time of the day you'd have somewhere where they'd all be together, the excluded children. I don't think that place exists anymore. And so, unfortunately, truthfully, honestly, they're running wild.
Okay.
And we all know about this. So, what can each candidate do, offer, not promise, but, you know, Every Child Matters came from, it's a framework, it came from the unfortunate death of Victoria Climbier, where she was sent from abroad to her aunt, and her aunt killed her in the end. And this was because all of the agencies weren't talking to one another. And I feel this happens today. In this kind of thing, lots of agencies put them together and try and put something into place for these young people who are really displaced.
Okay.
And also, of course, in Havoc.
Okay, great. I mean, you can't start to answer the question already there, aren't you, with one way. So, Gordon, I think you visited we're on to. So, yeah, what can we do for the young people that are falling out, not in that system in that way, falling through the net?
That's right. So I was starting on a slightly different line at the beginning, but it's like so many things. There is at the first level a very simple answer. It's not about how you organise things, you can do that afterwards. It's about the fact that the entire system is starved of money. The reason that people have moved back from being able to provide those services is not that the people who are engaged in those professions don't want to do it. It's that they are no longer employed. Or if they are working in schools, they are concentrated more and more on dealing with every day-to-day issue. It happens that my sister is a secondary school chair of governors, and my wife is another governor. One of the things they do is exclusion hearings, and one of the most difficult things around that is if you're doing an exclusion hearing, and there is an absolutely clear case for doing it, you know that when you've done it, the problem with that child and with that family is going to get worse rather than better, because there isn't the input through the youth service, or sometimes in these cases through the probation service, in order to provide the longer term support that's necessary. It links on to a number of other things, like mental health, like counselling, and like the commitments that I think actually all the parties are making on that subject in relation to secondary schools at the moment. The whole issue around care leavers, and if I can just add to that, relatively young people leaving the armed services, many of whom may have started their life in care and don't have anything to go back to when they come out, is absolutely appalling. I mean, we have made some moves as a society in recent years to investing more money for slightly longer with care leavers. That needs to be considerably more. We are talking in many of these cases about damaged children who haven't had the help and support that they need at any point in their young lives. And the answer to that isn't about how you organise services or whatever. It's about having the services in the first place and being willing to pay for them. When it comes to the question of people working together, Olive Stevenson, who did the Climbier inquiry, who I worked with for some years, she was my chair of my organisation, said, when challenged about this on one occasion, it's not that these agencies and these organisations don't want to work together, it's that they find it difficult to do so because of the demands that are made on them within their own organisations particularly in relation to not doing anything which saves money for somebody else. And how you break down that, crucially, is by having long-term personal relationships between the people in the different services who work on them. What they found out when they looked at this was that the worst possible thing for getting effective and joined-up services was top-down reorganisations. Every time you reorganise the health service or local government or the organisation of children's services, you make it less likely that those services will be able to come together and work together when there is a significant problem involving a child. So the first answer is clear, more money in the system. The second answer is put it in the right places. The third answer is how you get those people working together to meet the needs of individual children. Because if you do not meet the needs of the children, you will not be able to meet the needs of the people whose lives they are making difficult.
Okay, keep going.
Dorothy would agree with me, and I'm sure she does, that the vast majority of young people in this town are incredibly well behaved, but we do have a problem with a minority who make life a misery for other people. We have seen some progress in recent years. We've got record low youth unemployment. We've helped a lot of young people into apprenticeships, record numbers of apprenticeships and things. I think the challenge is, a bit like Gordon said, the challenge is much deeper than just finding something for people to do. Because, again, I would suggest in Colne, and this is a long-standing thing in Colne, we are blessed. We've got sports clubs, we've got 3 theatres, we've got Girl Guides, we've got Brownies, we've got Scouts, we've got youth clubs, we've got all sorts of facilities in Colne. And yet, the minority of young people who are causing the problem aren't engaging with those services and don't want to engage with those services. Why? Because quite a few of them are coming from troubled families. Some of them have mental health problems, some of them are already getting themselves mixed up in drug or alcohol addiction. So we need to think about what more we can do on troubled families agenda. This is something that the government has looked at, the coalition government, and in more recent years has looked at what more we can do to work with troubled families from an early stage. And it's something that, I think that has to be at the heart of what we're doing going forward.
Okay, it's a massive question. I think it's a real challenge. If I just tackle some of them, I think it needs to start from a very early age with sure starts. Right, and we start with the mums and the parents from an early age. And that's why Labour is committed to reintroducing sure starts and having one in every area so that mothers and parents I know when I was growing up in Brighfield, we used to have a youth centre and there was lots of youth activities and the schools used to work with the youth service and there was a multi-agency approach. And over 3,000 youth centres have been shut in this country since 2010. So when you've got no youth centres, and we always blame young people for hanging about street corners, I think that has a massive impact. We need to make sure that there are things like brownies and police cadets and so on, but a lot of kids don't actually want to do that. But we need to have a prevention agenda. We need to make leisure facilities like sports and gyms and classes and dance, etc. affordable. We'll actually provide that free of charge so that young people have things to do and we can direct them, a bit like social prescribing in other ways for young people. Mental health is a massive issue. I mean, there's 700 kids plus in Lancashire who don't have a school place or they've been expelled from school and need a special school. And these are the places to accommodate them. And I think the £5.5 million that's been cut from schools in Pendle that Andrew has voted for since 2010, that £5.5 million has been taken out. That means books, that means teachers, that means support staff, and that's adding additional pressure on our schools. But I think in terms of college and so on, I think by giving young people back the education maintenance allowance, by investing in our schools, and we had extended schools that David Blunkett brought in, but the whole purpose was that school didn't need to finish at 3:30. School could carry on till 6, 7, 8 at night, but the schools don't have the money. I'm a governor at Marsden Heights, and the people at government at other high schools, and they've got fantastic facilities, but they don't have the budgets to be able to carry out those duties. So I think we need more investment. We need to start from a young age with sure starts. We need to reopen our youth centres, and we need to put back the money into schools so they've got the teachers and the books to look after the children.